tare ture Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha Om tare ture Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha Om tare ture Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha.
Welcome everyone to Lama Live stream event with Lama Tsultrim Allione on behalf of Taramandala International Buddhist Community. My name is Dreamy and I'm joining you from Poland. Such a blessing to be gathered here together as a Sangha and to truly welcome each and every one of you, whether you are joining us live or tuning in through a recording. As we are now sharing this virtual room, it's important to emphasize that at Taramandala, we are committed to being a welcoming, open, and safe community for practitioners and students of all cultures, races, religions, genders, sexual orientations, age, ability, and circumstances. It's been a while since we last gathered for Lama Live, and so much has happened since then for many of us on our paths. Lama Tsultrim has traveled to Europe, sharing her guidance, her presence in the Czech Republic, Germany, Sweden, Italy, and Switzerland. I hope I haven't forgotten any. If any of you connecting today joined those in-person programs, it would be so lovely to hear from you in the chat. We just truly celebrate all that has been shared and received there. Lama Tsultrim is now connecting from Encinitas, California, so feel invited to offer Lamala a heartfelt welcome back. I invite you all to truly realize how precious it is to be here with Lama and each other as we connect, practice, and open to the teachings. Thank you. Over to you, Lamala.
Thank you, Drimila. And yeah, I just got back from Europe. I'm still a little bit jet lagged, but it was an amazing trip. And I just appreciate Europe so much. All the little countries are so different. And so you can have really different experiences in a really short geographic span. And I taught non-duality. Mostly I did one, Feeding Your Demons, but mainly was teaching that. And yeah, I would love to hear from anyone who is there. I see Taramandala, Sweden is tuning in. I'd never been in Sweden before. I loved it. I loved Sweden. Wow, what an amazing country. And did you know that Stockholm is built on 7 islands? It's not like on the mainland, it's islands. And it's really beautiful. There's 150 museums in Stockholm. So, yeah, I also wanted to say a couple of things which are important. This is our 111th 111 Lama Live. I came up with this idea during COVID as a way to be able to touch in with people. It was sort of toward the end of COVID. To be able to touch in with people in a live way, because I felt so distant from everyone and hadn't been able to travel and teach for a long time. And so that was wonderful. And Drimela has been at every one of these Lama lives the whole time and given up her Sundays for this consistently for a long time. And so Dreame today is officially retiring from Lama Live. She's now fully on our platform, Mighty Networks, which is growing really rapidly and needs a lot of attention. It's a wonderful place to connect more with Tara Mandala. There's practices every day from all over the world that you can actually go to on the platform. People are commenting, there's different discussion groups, and just a lot of material that is being shared there, as well as our hearts. So I wanted to take this opportunity and let's all of us thank Dreame, take a moment and really connect with her and her beautiful presence here all these years that she's been doing it, and send her an abundance of gratitude that fills her heart and being. Yeah, I can feel it. I can feel it landing there. Dreame, thank you so much. And we really appreciate your presence from Poland, all the way from Poland. And you know, we've been with you as the Ukraine war started in at the edge of Poland. And I really felt it was so nice to be able to support the Sangha in Poland and of course all the Polish people, and then have that direct contact with you. It's not over yet, this conflict by any means, and we will continue to be with you as things go forward. So I wanted to say that and really honor what Dreame has done. And I see some love coming in there on the chat for you, Dreame. I'm happy about that. The other thing I wanted to announce is that we are now having an annual, so it's only now, online auction for fundraising for Tara Mandala. And in that auction, there's some pretty exciting things, including the chud drum that I used in the Machik empowerment that I gave at Tara Mandala on our 30th anniversary. So that very chud drum, as well as the bell and vajra, we are auctioning off. And of course, remember that anything that you offer there goes really to the benefit of all beings, because that's what Tara Mandala is for. So check out our auction. I think we have a link to it. Yep. And there's lots of other things as well, including a photograph of me and Allen Ginsberg taken in 1972, practicing under the Grand Tetons in Wyoming. A couple of years ago, his secretary got in touch with me and said, I found these negatives, and Alan took pictures. He traveled with a camera, so somebody else had his camera and did these pictures, and there's a few of them. But then his secretary sent me copies with the sticker on the back saying that this is a genuine photograph from the archives of Allen Ginsberg. So that's on the back, and that gives the photograph more value in a historic sense. So anyway, check that out. So, oh yeah, there it is. That's me. Somebody looked at that and said, what Lama is that? I said, that's me as a nun. So that's Alan and I under the Grand Tetons in 1971. And I signed the back also, personally. So anyway, Nick wrote Howl, yeah. Seeing the best minds of my generation. Yeah, amazing, amazing poem. Okay, so today, let's raise bodhicitta to begin with, generating a heartfelt intention to be together for the benefit of all beings. That vast intention, heartfelt longing to benefit beings, to be a resource for others. Thank you. So I had talked before about this prophecy that I'm going to talk about today. So I'm going to just give a review of the prophecy, but this time give more specifics in terms of what you can do, and we'll also do some practice together. So this is a prophecy that is not from one person. It's from various different tertons. Tertons are treasure revealers who have direct contact karmically with Guru Rinpoche, were present at the time when Guru Rinpoche was in Tibet, and have reincarnated. And so there's usually a great terton of every century, and then there's some other more minor tertons. Not that any terton's a minor, because it's an amazing process that is present in the Nyingma tradition of Tibetan Buddhism. And how it works is these either objects were hidden or texts were hidden. So it could be like a porba, it could be a bell and dorje, or it could be a text or any other kind of ritual implements. Those were actually hidden, physically hidden, in cliff faces, inside caves, etc. And then there were things that were hidden in the minds of these beings who were with Guru Rinpoche, imprinted into their mind stream and sort of like programmed to come forth at a certain time when it would be most relevant. And so these treasures are discovered periodically, and the names of all the treasure revealers were written by Guru Rinpoche in the 8th century. So I thought I would talk about the prophecy and then talk a little bit about Guru Rinpoche, and then we do some practice together. And also we're going to be giving you resources so that you can do something about these prophecies. So according to the prophecies attributed to Guru Rinpoche and other treasure revealers, there are predictions of a potential major conflict or war, a nuclear war, in 2030. And that is the Iron Dog year in the Tibetan calendar. So when the prophecies were written, it was like in the Iron Dog year of, and then it gave the century, which in the Tibetan calendar system is 60 years, their centuries. So it's this 2030. And so the key points of the prophecy, there's multiple prophecies that predict the possibility of nuclear war. which could cause catastrophic destruction. Kapche Choto Rinpoche's aspiration prayer specifically mentions the danger of nuclear weapons and their potential to destroy the world and its inhabitants. There's also prophecies describing armies with advanced weaponry and people fighting of diverse backgrounds and indicating a global conflict. However, while these prophecies are dire, there are also things given at the same time to avert this prophecy. And that's the reason why I'm bringing this up again, because I want as many people as possible to know about this and to be doing the practices to avert the war. And so there's several things that you can do. One is to recite prayers and practices of Guru Rinpoche. Guru Rinpoche is a sort of key figure to be invoking around this, and I'll be talking more about who he is. Also to perform drupshans, particularly drupshans of Vajrakhilaya. And I know that we do have a connection with a group in New York who does Vajrakhilaya regularly. And of course, I know, for example, that Khandro Dorje Palmo Rinpoche is doing a Kalaya Drupshan soon in Bhutan. Oh, by the way, I have to tell you this. This being, Khandro Dorje Palmo Rinpoche, is an emanation, an actual emanation of Dorje Palmo or Vajravarahi, who is a form of Vajrayogini. She is a terton. She has revealed many termas and also received actual objects as termas. And she's coming to the United States. We are bringing her. She has agreed to come this spring. And we're just planning her itinerary now. I haven't personally met her myself, but I've had contact with her and received divinations from her. And she's pretty amazing, pretty amazing. And our group that's now in Nepal studying is met with her and said she was amazing. And so we'll talk about this more in the future, and we'll be getting the message out about where she's going and where you could connect with her. But anyway, I wanted to let you know about that's on the horizon. She'll be leaving Bhutan around the 27th of April and be in the United States around a month. Okay, back to the prophecy. So she's doing a Kalaya Drupshan coming up. And if you can attend Drupshans, you can support them. You can send donations, so they can make feast offerings to just support it. It's a lot to do a Drupshan, I know, because we've done it. And then creating and displaying prayer flags in prominent locations, particularly prayer flags of Guru Rinpoche, but any kind of prayer flags. And we do have those Guru Rinpoche prayer flags, and I think they're going to post a link. We put up a lot of them at the time of the 30th anniversary at the site of the Shitro Temple and Cremation Stupa, where that will be built at Taramandala. So you can do that too. Also, putting statues of Guru Rinpoche in high places on mountaintops And like we put a statue of Guru Rinpoche on top of Ekajati Peak. I'm thinking about getting a bigger one to put there. And then also to put images of the 4 element goddesses. So these are, it's not the 5 female Buddhas, it's not the 5 Dakinis, these are the 4 element goddesses. I had understood before that these were 5, but it's actually 4. And in the meantime, since we last met about this, people gave donations, and I commissioned Lama Jorme to make paintings of these 4 element goddesses. And so I just spoke to Tuku Sanak last night, who's one of the people who is propagating this prophecy about what to do with those 4 element goddesses, which we also now have available through the bookstore. And he said, you put them around in the 4 directions around Guru Rinpoche. And that can be done either inside somewhere or outside. If you put them outside, he was saying like laminate them on stone somehow. I wasn't sure exactly how you could do that, but I was thinking you could laminate them and put them around Guru Rinpoche outside. They're really beautiful. And so these are the energies of the elements that are being invoked for peace. And yeah. So we're also making, oh, there they are, great. We're making high quality prints of these, some really high quality ones, and then some more just like more simple prints. And so you can tell what element they are by the color. And aren't they beautiful? Yeah. We will mark them on our prints, what element they are, so you know. Okay, so you can use those, and do the practice of Guru Rinpoche. And so that's what we're going to do today, as well as the 7-line prayer. And we have a retreat coming up. Just so happens that Azam Rinpoche revealed a practice of Guru Rinpoche at Samye, which is the monastery that he built in Tibet in the 8th century. Rinpoche revealed this in, I believe it was 2007, a practice, and Tuku Ursul's doing a retreat on this practice. He did it a couple of times already. He did it in Europe and so on. And it's not long, it's not difficult, and we really encourage you to do it because it's amazing. It's an amazing practice. So that's also a possibility. So engaging in compassionate actions is also a deterrent, and releasing ego clinging. So the practice of chud would also be a deterrent. It's also important to note that these prophecies are part of the Tibetan Buddhist tradition and can be interpreted differently by various practitioners and scholars. Some see them as literal predictions, and that's what I'm talking about. And others see it more metaphorically as warnings of the consequences of human actions. So the emphasis on the prophecies is not the inevitability of this. It's not that nuclear war is inevitable. It's that it's a possibility. And therefore, we need to do these averting practices. So in a way, it's like really different than saying like doomsday, like the end is coming. It's more like saying there are certain factors that could come together that could create this risk, and there's something you could do about it. And so that's why we're telling you, because there's something you can do about it. So who were the Tertans who spoke about this? Who were the revealers? One was called Jigme Nudan Dorje, and what he said was 18 armies will carry 108 different kinds of weapons and armor. Their food, language, and clothing will all be different. They are all extremists with no contentment. So he lived from 1646 to 1717. And he was recognized as one of the most important treasure revealers, Jigme Nudan Dorje Tertan. And so he discovered a lot of different hidden treasures and relics associated with Padmasambhava, which is another name for Guru Rinpoche. Another person who spoke about this actively was Kapche Chatral Sanjay Dorje Rinpoche, who was also the teacher of Christina Munson, from whom she learned the Sarakandro teachings that we have had at Taramandala through Sogen Rinpoche. And he stated in his aspiration prayer for urging enlightened minds to avert the strife of the unfortunate era. He said, from the unfolding ocean of results of the shared karma of beings in the final age of misfortune, helpful forces will waver, while the powerful voices of destructive forces will influence those in power, and they will wield nuclear weapons which could destroy the world. He lived from 1913 to 2015. So he lived to be 102. I knew him starting in 1970. And he did some very prophetic things. When I met him, I was a nun, and I was looking for him in his monastery, and this man came and said, he's over there, go through there. He's over there. So I went over there and kind of in the back of the monastery and was given tea. And finally I was saying, like, where's Joshua Rinpoche? Am I going to see Joshua Rinpoche? And then they said, he's right there. And he was kind of up at the top of the staircase on a little porch. And it was the man that I'd said, where's Joshua Rinpoche to? And then he gave me baby clothes. At that time, Americans were sending baby clothes and all kinds of secondhand clothes to Tibetan refugees. So he gave me American baby clothes. And I was a nun. I had no idea why he gave me baby clothes. I was like, what am I going to do with these? And then he gave me a very short version of the Conjure, like 5 or 6 pages, which is 108 volume text. And so then later, when I became a mother and I had no time to practice, I realized, oh, baby clothes and a very short practice. This is really prophetic. Anyway, so he's one of the ones that made this prediction. Then Kapche Kongsar Tempe Wangchuk Rinpoche. He lived from 1938 to 2014. So he was born in the same year as Joshua Rinpoche. And he also said, a great war will happen in this world in the Iron Dog year of 2030. He was considered to be an emanation of Yudra Ningpo, also like Tuku Urso. And so another one of the prophecies from Padmasambhava stated, in the Iron Male Dog year So that's 2030. All cities and surrounding areas will be filled with carnivorous animals such as tigers, bears, wild dogs, wolves, and the like. At that time, it will be very important to write of and propagate this text as a method for liberating humans. And then followed a certain text prayer. So these prophecies all indicate this potential conflict. And this year, which is already more than half over, the dragon year is considered the best year to do these averting practices because it's a very powerful year. And so with everything we've seen politically in this last election in the United States and the conflicts in the Middle East, etc., I know everyone's feeling worried. Everyone's feeling like impending doom. But take that and practice. Do these practices. I've deleted all my news apps just for my own mental health. I was, I'm the daughter of a journalist, and, I was told it's irresponsible not to follow the news. So I do, but I'm taking a break right now because I just need to. And so I'm encouraging you all to take a break also. I don't mean be irresponsible. I just mean recover, find your center, focus on practice, and positive thoughts. Positive thoughts. They have an impact. Okay, so that's the prophecy. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about I want to talk about Guru Rinpoche, and in case you don't know. So Guru Rinpoche was a historical being. He's written about both in historical accounts as well as in religious texts. He's considered to be the second Buddha by the Tibetans, particularly the Tibetans that follow the Nyingma path. But by all Tibetans, they know Guru Rinpoche is really considered to be the principal founder of Tibetan Buddhism as we know it, because he was invited to Tibet by King Tsultrim Detsen in the 8th century. King Tsultrim Detsen was a young king, somewhat arrogant, and when Guru Rinpoche arrived, he was not particularly respectful. And then Guru Rinpoche performed some miracles, and all of a sudden he was like, I'm here. What do you need? Let's do this. So Guru Rinpoche and Tsultrim Detsen built Sami Monastery, which is an incredible mandalic monastery in central Tibet. By mandalic, I mean the monastery itself is a mandala, and then there's stupas around it of the different colors of the different directions that are amazing. And it has been restored, but it's also, the original paintings are still there. And you can go into these hallways, and if you have like a light on your phone or whatever, you can, or a flashlight, you can see these original paintings in the hallways. And it's a really powerful place to visit. And you can go to Tibet still. Some people say, I don't want to go. It's just so sad. But, it's really encouraging for the Tibetan people to have practitioners go. And that's why when I've taken groups in the past, I've always encouraged them to wear the Dharma clothing so that Tibetans know you're practitioners, and it encourages them. Like, okay, it's going on. It's out there in the world. The Dharma is spreading. And we may organize a pilgrimage through Dharamala to Tibet before too long. But anyway, so Guru Rinpoche came from Odhyana, and Odhyana is called the land of the Dakinis. Why? Why is it called the land of the Dakinis? Because there were so many great women teachers there, great Dakinis. And as I've been going around teaching non-duality, one of the things I've been teaching is the Semde lineage of Dzogchen, which has 21 masters that precede it going to Tibet with Sri Simha and Vairocana. And 6 are women, and they're all from Odhyana. So Odhyana was a natural place, and it was considered to be an enlightened dimension, an enlightened place on this earth. I always wonder, what was it really like in Odhyana? You know, what was it really like? There was a big lake there. It's thought that it was in northeastern Pakistan, northwestern India, up in that area. Tucci, who was a great Italian Tibetologist, thought it was in the Swat Valley. In Pakistan, he found stupas there. He found a lot of paintings and, evidence of a kingdom like this. But anyway, Guru Rinpoche came from there, and he taught. And he's said to have been born from a lotus, not a human birth. That he was born from a lotus. Exactly how that happened or what that means in actuality, we don't know, but we do know that it's likely that he was abandoned and appeared in a lotus pond and was found. Or maybe he quite literally came out of a lotus. There are these kind of miraculous things that happen that we can't fathom scientifically, but we can't fathom everything that happens. And the more we open ourselves to magic, the more it turns up in our lives. So he came to Tibet, he taught, he traveled, he was exiled from the court because he was making the king Buddhist. And at that point, Buddhism was not the main religion in Tibet. It was Bön, and it was a very powerful kingdom. The kingdom of Tibet stretched into China. The Tibetans installed the Chinese emperor. It went all the way to Turkestan and down into India. And so the Tibetans, the ministers, were aware that Buddhism doesn't encourage killing. And so they didn't want Tibet to become Buddhist. And in fact, it did become Buddhist, and it was the end of the Tibetan kingdom because they stopped killing people, which is, wonderful that they did that, and that these very fierce, powerful people converted to this very powerful, deep spiritual path. In Tibet, they had banned the wheel because there were prophecies that once there was the wheel, that would be the end of Tibet. And in fact, it's true. That's what happened. They only had prayer wheels. So it's been an incredible country. It still is. It's still alive. And it's spread. And we benefit from that, from the spreading. In a way, we benefit from the invasion of Tibet because it caused what they call the Tibetan diaspora, including the Dalai Lama coming out of Tibet, because they were very isolationist. And so it sort of forced the wisdom of Tibet out, and we derived the benefit of it. The whole world did. Somebody said once, I think the Dalai Lama is the most popular person in the world. I wouldn't doubt that. So anyway, Guru Rinpoche stayed there for a while, and then he left. He was reinstated in the court, and he did his work there. And then he left Yeshe Tsogyal, who was his Tibetan consort, who was an incredible yogini. And she continued the work for many more years. I think it was 44 more years she lived. And she buried more treasures. She taught. She was an amazing force in Tibet and still is. And so within the Ösel Nyingtik cycle that we teach at Tara Mandala, we have a sadhana of Yeshe Tsogyal, and we also have a sadhana of Guru Rinpoche. And so I thought I would today teach from that sadhana, just the refuge and bodhicitta and the 7-line prayer. And then if you're inspired, you can do the retreat and learn the practice with Tuku Ösel. I think it's in December, early December. Yeah. Okay. So begins with refuge and bodhicitta. And so the first line is Namo Gyalkun Yeshe Dupe Kil, to the embodiment of the primordial wisdom of the victorious ones. Pema Jungne Kyapsuche. Pema Jungne is born of the lotus. That's the name of Guru Rinpoche. Kamsam Korwe Trulnangle, in the midst of the diluted appearances of the 3 realms of existence. Zungjuk Chembo Semkedo. So the first 2 lines are the refuge, and then the second 2 lines are the raising of bodhicitta. This last line, Zungjuk Chembo Semkedo, incorporates this word Zungjuk, which is a really cool word because it is usually translated as union or unification, but it's not just any old union. It's the reunion that occurs when our mind stream moves from dualistic fixation, outward moving, grasping, fear, hopes, etc., turns back on itself and reunifies with the ground of being in a non-dual state. That is called Zungjuk. It's not just the unity itself, it's this returned unity or the reunion. So let's just take a moment and feel that. What if we take our outgoing consciousness? Now you're listening to me, and you're maybe thinking about what to have for dinner if you're in Europe, or what to have for breakfast if you're here, or lunch, or whatever. You're thinking about different things. So take that energy and turn it back toward itself and look at its origin. Where does awareness come from? You feel that reunification, the resting, the vastness, the empty luminosity. That's Zungjuk. So that's the refuge. I'll say it in Tibetan. Namo Gyalkun Yeshe Dupe Kil, Pema Jungne Kyapsuche, Kamsam Korwe, Trolnang Le, Zungjuk Chembo, semkeito. So within the state of Zongjuk, you raising bodhicitta. That's the last line. And this is a terma from Azampelo Rinpoche, by the way. And he received it in Samye Monastery. Guru Rinpoche appeared to him on the second level of Samye Monastery in the turquoise room. Guru Rinpoche appeared to him and gave him the sadhana. Okay, so then, this is the visualization. Zangtal Rigpe Kalongdu, in the vast expanse of unimpeded awareness. So Zangtal is an amazing word also, and it means penetrating awareness or unimpeded awareness. It's another Dzogchen term that has a very specific kind of felt experience with it. And then Kalong is Ka is the sky, and Long is expanse. Rangjung Todrel Shelye U, in the center of the naturally arisen palace, free of conceptual elaborations. So naturally arisen is Rangjung, so it's arising by itself. So this is your visualization. So you're in the vast expanse of unimpeded awareness, and then this palace arises, is the authentic body of unchanging awareness. Pema Jungne, Gektro Shell, is Pema Jungne, Padmasambhava, whose face is both charming and wrathful. So the wrathful is like the intensity. Like it's not angry, it's intense. Karla Marwe Zumdangchen, with white and reddish complexion. So they say his face, he had a whitish complexion with a reddish tinge. You know how, if you've ever been to Tibet, like they have really pink cheeks. And I always think of that, like just this really kind of healthy glow. Take you Yongzok Nata Loop, donning all the robes of the 9 vehicles. Those are all the practice vehicles. The Shravaka, the Prakjeka Yana, Bodhisattva Yana, Kriya Yoga, Upa Yoga, Ani-yoga, Mahayoga, Ati-yoga, all those, the 9 vehicles. So there's robes that symbolize each of those 9 vehicles. He holds a vajra, skull cup, and a khatvanga. So, Dreamy, maybe display the image that you have of him. He holds the vajra, skull cup, and khatvanga. Yeah. So see, he's got the vajra there on his right knee. Ooh, nice. You can zoom in. And then the skull cup in his left hand. They're in the edge of that image. So the vajra is the indestructibility, and the skull cup holds the amrita of the transformation of karma into enlightened energy. And then he has also khatvanga. So that's a staff that goes up over his left shoulder. It symbolizes the 3 kayas. I don't know if you can zoom in on the khatvanga. Dreamy, that would be great if you can. But it symbolizes the hidden consort. So this is his feminine aspect. So it's interesting, right? That he's carrying his feminine aspect. So he's integrated. His masculine and feminine are integrated. On his head, he wears a lotus crown. Oh, nice. That's a Khatvanga staff from Tar Mandala. It's actually my Khatvanga staff that Tulgurusel had made for me. When it's a male, it will have the trident on the top. When it's a female's Khatvanga, she'll have the Vajra on the top, symbolizing the masculine. And the Khatvanga symbolizes the feminine. Oh, there we go. You're amazing dreaming. Yeah. And then he wears the lotus crown. The lotus symbolizes how from within the muck and the pollution comes this perfection. So this is our perfect Buddha nature that's always there within the muck and pollution of our minds. It's always there. So he wears the lotus crown. He's seated in the posture of royal ease. That's with one leg out. In the center of the pavilion of his heart, which is the expanse of swirling spheres of rainbow light. That's what his heart is. I love that, swirling spheres of rainbow light. So we're in the process of becoming him. So this is you. You have swirling spheres of rainbow light in your heart. And abides Samantabhadra Yabhyam. So that's the naked Dharmakaya Buddhas, the male and female Buddhas. Samantabhadri is the ground of being, and Samantabhadra is a recognition of the ground of being. And they're naked because they're Dharmakaya, which is formless. So they have form, which symbolizes formlessness. So they're in his heart, in our hearts. Okay? In the center of their heart, within a sphere of 5 colored lights, is the essence of the life force. Seed syllable, hum, hum. That's the sound. Sometimes it's written hum, H-U-M, but it's really, the sound is hum. It's a very powerful sound, which is shimmering like melted azurite. Intense light rays burst forth, causing all conceptual fixation and characteristics to subside into basic space. Within his body, the mandalas of all the classes of Tantra are perfectly complete. His 3 places are marked by the 3 syllables, Om, Om, Ah, Hum, Hum in the heart. So those are kind of outside of his body, and then the sphere that contains Samantabhadri, Samantabhadra, Yabhyam, is inside in the central channel of his body. And then light rays emanate out of the Om Ahum, invoking the assembly of deities, that's the wisdom beings from space. So let's take a moment and feel into ourselves being this. We'll sound the hum and become him. And now we'll sound again the Hong and send light out to the wisdom beings of the universe, invoking their wisdom and luminosity. Invoking the wisdom beings of the universe. And then we'll sound home one more time and invite that wisdom to come into our bodies as Guru Rinpoche. So now we are Guru Rinpoche, and we're going to do the 7-line prayer as him. And we're going to do this and send out energy to avert this prophecy coming true. But before we do the 7-line prayer, I'm going to explain it. So the first line is Orjan Yoki Nu Chab-sam, and that describes Guru Rinpoche's birthplace of Odhyana. Odhyana is Orjan in Tibetan. So Orjan Yoki Nu Chab-sam, Nu Chang-sam, is the northwestern border country. So from India, it's in the northwest, and that's where he is. Pema Gesar Dombola, he arises from a lotus, and that depicts his miraculous birth. Imagine a child being born from a lotus. Yansan Chuki Nudrupne, you attained the marvelous, most excellent cities. So that describes his path and his achievements of all the cities, all the powers, both relative and absolute. Pemajone Shesu Drak. So that's his name. And it says that you became famous, you became renowned as Pemajone, the lotus-born one. Kordukandro Mangpokor, you are surrounded by a vast retinue of dakinis. So you're surrounded by dakinis. And why? Why are you, what's the meaning? That he's surrounded by these female figures, because there are all those wisdom women in Odhyana who were surrounding him as he grew up. And he had a major teacher who was a woman, not in Odhyana, she was in India, but she was amazing. Her name was Leki Wangmo. And he heard about her and he wanted to get the 8 Heruka empowerments from her. And so he found her. And then her sort of maid servant wouldn't take her to him, wouldn't take him to her. And she's kind of putting him off. And then Guru Rinpoche did a mudra and froze the maidservant to the ground, and she was carrying water, she couldn't move. And so eventually she let him meet Leki Wangmo. And as her way of giving him these empowerments, this is really amazing, she turned him into a home and she ate him. She swallowed him as this letter home. And as he passed through her enlightened body, he received the 8 empowerments And then he came out through her secret place, having received all the empowerments of the 8 Herukas. And we have one of her hairs in the stupa at Taramandala. We were given that by Trudel Namkhin Orba Rinpoche. That's pretty amazing. And we have hair of Guru Rinpoche in our stupa. So anyway, so then that's the Dakinis. Keiki Jesu Datrupki, as I practice, following in your footsteps. Jinji Lapchir Sheksu So, I pray, please come to convert your blessings. So the 7-line prayer is a protection from illnesses. It fulfills wishes. It creates swift blessings, very swift compared to other practices, because you have a direct contact with Guru Rinpoche. And also liberation at the time of death by merging with Guru Rinpoche's wisdom mind. Many teachers teach that simply by reciting the 7-line prayer with deep devotion and yearning, it becomes a complete spiritual practice in itself. It was the first prayer that I learned when I entered Tibetan Buddhism. All Tibetans know it, and there's many beautiful melodies of it. Some very slow, some fast, some more singing, etc. But you don't have to sing it, you can just say it. So how do you say it? So it's important to recite it with devotion. Pray in a way that is so intense that it invokes tears in your eyes. That's the advice of Guru Chowang, who's one of the Tertans. And then after reciting it, rest in a clear state of awake awareness. This is what's advised, and to feel the presence of Guru Rinpoche. And he did say that whenever this is practiced, he would be present. He made that prophecy. And it's particularly strong on Guru Rinpoche Day, which happens every month. It's the 10th day after the new moon. So incorporate it into your daily practices. There's so many benefits of it. And we're going to do it together. I wanted to tell a little bit more, a deeper meaning of it. Let's see. Here's something that. Yeah. So, yeah, the secret meaning of it is that it is a path of skillful means to enlightenment and to the innermost secret meaning according to the great perfection teachings. So it's a multi-leveled prayer. Like, it's not just that outer, he comes from Allione, surrounded by Dakinis, etc. But it's the whole deeper understanding of it that is in a prayer that's in a book called The White Lotus. And Mipa Rinpoche writes in the commentary that the commentary itself of The White Lotus arose like a mind treasure, a gongter. And he had all these insights into each line of the 7-line prayer. And so that's amazing. And you can read that. We won't have time to go into that in depth today, but we are going to do it. Yeah. So Guru Rinpoche, you can see as an emanation of the Buddha. You can see him as an archetypal guru or spiritual teacher, and also as a historical figure. So let's do it. You ready? So we became Guru Rinpoche a few minutes ago, and let's take a moment and go back to that, because I've been talking since then about the meaning of the prayer. And this is it's not the whole prayer that's up on the screen right now, but it will roll down as we do it. Dreamy will scroll. So let's take a moment and retune into being Guru Rinpoche, wearing those robes of the 9 yanas, having the secret consort Khatvanga in the hook of your left arm, and skull cup, the wisdom Amrita inside the skull cup, and the Vajra on his outstretched knee. By the way, there are 8 manifestations of Guru Rinpoche, and this is just one of them. And so, feeling ourselves in that, let's sound the home one more time before we do the prayer together. Cham sam pema ge sa dombola yansan chuki nu dune pema jone she sudra hudi khandra mampo ko ge ki je sudra tuchi jinji lap chir she suso guru pema siddhi hum. Ojin yoki nu cham sam pema ke sa dombola yansan chuji nu dune pema jone she sudra hodi khandra mampo ko ge ki je sudra tuchi jinji lap chir she suso Guru Pema Siddhi Hum. Orden Yoki Nu Chan Sam Pema Gesa Dombola Yansan Chuchi Nu Dune Pema June She Sudra Horde Khandra Mampo Kor Keki Je Sudra Duchi Jinji Lapchir Se Suso Guru Pema Siddhi Hum. Ojin Yoki Nu Chansa Pema Gesa Dombola Yansan Chuji Ngudune Pema June She Sudra Hodi Khandra Mampo Ko Kiki Je Sudra Duchi Jinji Lapchir She Suso Guru Pema Siddhi Hum. Ojin Yoki Nu Chansa Pema Gesa Dombola Yansan Chuji Nu Dune Pema June She Sudra Hodi Khandra Mampo Ko Keki Je Sudra Duchi Jinji Lapchir She Suso Guru Pema Siddhi Hum. And for the last time. Om Jen Yogi Nu Chansam Pemage Sadom Bodha Yansan Chuji Nu Dune Pema Dune Shisudra Kordi Kandra Mampo Korgi Ki Jesudra Duchi Jinji Lapchir Shesuso Guru Pema Siddhi Hum. Rest in his presence. Clear awareness. Feeling yourself as Guru Rinpoche, wearing the lotus crown, holding the skull cup and vajra. In the posture of royal ease. And really feel yourself with a hole in your heart and that hole is inside the heart of Samantabhadra, Samantabhadri, where their hearts touch. And around it is the mantra of Guru Rinpoche. Let's do some of that mantra so you can learn it. Om Ahum Vajraguru Pema Siddhi Hum. Tibetans usually say Benza Guru. So let's do some of that. Om Ahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Hum. 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 Om Ahum Ema Asideum Ameha Benza Guru Ema Asidium. Om Benza Guru Pema Sidium. Om Ahum 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 Benza Guru Pema Sidium. Now let's imagine our bodies as Guru Rinpoche dissolving into the home in Samantabhadra's hearts that are in his heart. So there's only the home. And then that home dissolves up into the tiny tigle at the top of the home, tiny sphere, blue light. And then that also dissolves. And then let's dedicate the merit of our practice to the benefit of all beings. Gewadi Nyurduda Maha Guru Drupchurne Drawa Chikcham Madhu Bhadeye Salago Barsho. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Oh. So, Yeah, still feeling the presence of Guru Rinpoche. And you can accumulate these mantras too. And we have a place on the Mighty Network's Tara Mandala page, which is our platform, where you can write down. I did 7,000 today. I did 100. I did 10. Whatever. But people are doing that, and it's adding up. So that's a nice way to kind of, put in a deposit. It's like putting in a deposit into the Peace Savings Bank account. So I think we have a few minutes for questions or comments. If you would like to do something, I better roll down here. Looks like some people have said things. Lots of thank yous. Oh, David was there in Odiana in 1973. Oh, I didn't see that link, but that's really interesting. Okay. Johnny, okay, John Candice. Similar clarifying prophecies include the mantra Emaho Peno Peno Swaha. Okay. Yeah. I don't see any questions coming. Lots of thank yous. Thank you for thanking me, and thanks to Guru Rinpoche. And I really encourage you to do the course to learn the sadhana, because it's a terma that was recently revealed, and it's specifically for Guru Rinpoche, and it's not long and it's not difficult. And so that's an option. Let's see. Wow, things are coming in so fast I can't read that. Okay, I think there's a question. What do you think we can do to stay aware of situations in the world? Oh, you mean if we turn off our news apps? Anything really important, you'll hear about it. Somebody will tell you. And I'm not saying to be extreme about this, but it's really helped me to focus on other things. I was so focused on the election, and the polls and what's happening today, and it's just it's a mind break and putting our mind somewhere else, like here, or into joy, into presencing. Yes, Nick, if you know Kilaya, please do it for that purpose. Can this practice also avert some of the corruption and tyranny? Of course, yeah. It's really what it's doing is it's invoking this very powerful stream, which is Guru Rinpoche. These are not people. They're not people like, just like regular people. These are streams of energy. Guru Rinpoche is a stream. And that stream is very powerful and very beneficial. And it will benefit everything. So, yeah. Let's see. Are there any other predictions of beings from other dimensions helping to avert? I haven't heard any, Maddie. It's certainly worth invoking help from other dimensions. And I do believe there are other dimensions. And Guru Rinpoche is in another dimension. We have the Sambhogakaya, which is the dimension of luminosity that we can't see with our human eyes. And we can't even really see it with our imaginary eyes. or our mental eyes, but we can visualize and imagine these dimensions, these pure dimensions. And maybe we can see them. But in any case, we can invoke the presence of all the Sambhogakaya beings. They're all the enlightened beings that are not operating in flesh and blood right now, but they're still operating, and they'll always be operating because they're enlightened and they want to benefit the universe. And so you can always call on them and invoke them. And that's what we just did. We called on Guru Rinpoche, and then we called on all the enlightened beings of the universe. Remember, after we did the visualization, we did that. And they're there. They're definitely there. Let's see if there's any other questions here. Will Guru Rinpoche grant mundane wishes? That's not the purpose of the Dharma. The Dharma is to benefit all beings, and asking for personal favors is not the point. When you're in the blessing field, all kinds of wonderful, magical things happen, especially if you're generating bodhicitta, which is the longing to benefit all beings. So focus on that. Yes, you can. You can share this mantra. It's like the Tara mantra. My personal experience, I was walking around the stupa at Kathmandu. This is when I was like a 19-year-old hippie. Arrived in Kathmandu and smoking hashish every night, and then kind of wandering around stupas during the day. And a Lama came and started walking next to me, and he took my hand and he made me say things like, Om Mani Padme Hum. And again and again and again and again. And then Om Tare Tutare Ture Swaha. And then Om Ahum Vajraguru Pemasiddhi Hum. Those are the three mantras that he taught me. I had no idea what they were, who they were for at the time, but I learned them. I remembered them. I hadn't taken refuge, and he didn't have any hesitation. Machi Latran doesn't have a specific mantra associated with her, except within certain practices, but there isn't one like the general Machik mantra. There's the wonderful invocation of Machik Laptran. Om Machik Mala Soadab, Ah Machik Mala Soadab, Hong Machik Mala Soadab, Karpo Om Jijinji Lap, Marpo A Jijinji Lap, Mumpo Hun Jijinji Lap, Ku Sung Tuki Chin Chambo, Ma Yumchen Opun Tobarsho. That's the prayer that Machi Lopton gave to her son, Sampa Lamdrup, to call her when she passed away. And she said, when 3 or more people sing this, I will always be there. That's part of the Namke Norbu Chud practice. And there are some mantras associated with Machik as well, but they're more learned within a sadhana practice. I have cancer. Oh, I'm sorry, Elise. Can you pray for me? Yes. Yes. Send us your location. And if you write to info@taramandala.org and ask to be put on the prayer list, your name will be said every day in the afternoon practice at Taramandala. And we will be practicing for you. And I will also know where you are. And sending a picture is a good idea too. Yeah, let's see if there's any more questions before we leave each other. Okay, struggling with the link. Maybe we'll post that on the network, David. Are you on the network? You could also send it to Dreamy and she can post it if you're not and don't want to be. Specific Tara, yeah, we're going to have a program about that also. And D, I've been working in the hurricane. Oh, you have. Oh, so that's so wonderful that you're doing that. I was so touched. There's all these disasters all the time, and some of them just seem to hit us personally more than others. And that one really hit me. And yeah, so glad you're there and you're practicing, I'm sure, as well as doing, more practical things like getting people help with water and connectivity and so on. Yes, share the prophecy. Yes, it is a good idea. But, not as a sort of doom and gloom, but more as, this could happen and this is what you can do. Yes, you have an earth treasure vase. Are there any? You can keep it in your apartment. Yeah. Keep it in in like on your altar safely. And then something may open up where you can bury it in a place where it will be safe. If you can't bury it outside, that's okay. Yeah, Nick, right. Vajrayana makes these dimensions workable. Yes, and access to them. Yeah. Yeah, Josh. Put the Guru Rinpoche statues on the top of mountains. Of course, you don't want to put it in a public mountain where people are going to harm it. So, if there's like places that that are more secret or hard to get to, put them there, like Dharamandala, it's on Dharamandala land, so it's safe there. I want to thank everyone who gave offerings for the 4 goddesses to be painted. So we made those offerings to Lama Jorme, and we have those now. Encourage you to get them. I'm going to get some and have them framed and keep them in my house. And then you can make copies of them to put outside and cover them with plastic so they don't get harmed. Let us all be interconnected, Ursula. Thank you. That's a beautiful wish. Yes. The name of Cynthia's book, what's that name? Cynthia George just published a book on the Earth Treasure Vases. She's a dear old friend of mine, and she traveled the earth with these vases that she had made by a 104-year-old yogi in Nepal. And I was actually kind of connected to the whole thing from the beginning. She's written a book, I think it's called The Call from the Earth or something like that. But look up Cynthia Jur's book on, it's Jur's, it's Jurs, and it's published now. What would you suggest saying to friends and family to enroll them and get them involved in practicing? That's always tricky. You have to see if there's an opening and an interest. And, there may be some of your family that's interested and some that aren't. I know that's definitely true in my family. Some are like not interested at all, and some are very interested. So you don't want to force it on anybody or like, hey, you've got to do this or we're all going to die. That wouldn't be good. Send this teaching today to Lama Paulden. Here we go. She would like to hear this teaching. It's going to be on YouTube. and on my public figure Facebook page. It'll stay live on YouTube. And please do like us, and what's the other thing you can do? Like and comment on Facebook and YouTube, and that increases the reach as well. Do I know if he resides in Ayers Rock? I know that's a magical place, but Guru Rinpoche is in another dimension, not this one, copper-colored mountain. Yes, who knows? I mean, Guru Rinpoche is everywhere. Wherever we call him, he's there. It's not like he's just located in one place. The tonkas just need to be kept safely in, so they don't have to have the fabric around them, but safely meaning framed or in a good, clean place. Oh, good for you. You're going to finish prostration, Susan. Yeah, you should write that on the platform and get support there. Yeah, there's a thing for the Guru Rinpoche sadhana retreat, December 6th. You were wandering around a stupa yesterday. Okay, yeah, there's ways to find out more about the retreat. Yeah, thank you. I'm scrolling here. Okay. Can you post that, Erica? Yeah, he was a big Guru Rinpoche person. Cynthia George, yeah, Summoned by the Earth, yeah. Yeah, great book. I'll maybe have her on Lama Live sometime. You know, we're not doing it so often now, and so we try to do something really like important. I think the next time I'm going to do it on Chud, on the practice of Chud, and teach a little bit on that, and on Machik Lapdran. And for today, I hope this was helpful to you. I know it's intense to hear these prophecies, and it's an intense time in the world. And I encourage you to go into nature. Nature is really healing. To stay off the news apps and stay in your practice. For now, we'll get back on. We're responsible citizens. Yeah, thanks to all of you. And so nice to be with you today. And I'd like to dedicate my dana, if there is any, from today. Usually Dreame makes an announcement where people can offer dana at the end of this, and I'd like it to be for Dreame today. So Dreame, you have to post your PayPal, not mine. Okay? Promise? I don't want dana today. I want it to go to Dreame. So yeah, Dreame is amazing, and she's been here through thick and thin, and it's a lot that she's carried, and as you can see, she's amazing at it. She keeps putting in these links. So, you know, if she refuses to put her PayPal, then she'll put mine, and I'll forward it to her, but I'm hoping she will put hers. And thank you, everybody. Let's take a moment and dedicate all the merit of this whole time together to all beings. And the next Lama Live will be fairly soon, because now I'm back and I can do it. I'm not traveling. So we'll announce soon when the next one will be and who will be hosting it. If you're interested in hosting Lama Live, let Dreamy know that too. And if you have some qualifications for that, we don't have anyone yet. And yeah, let us know. Lots of love, everyone. And remember the online auction. That's important for Tara Mandala to be supported. A beautiful land and a temple and everything. Yeah, where all of this comes from, really. Lots of love, everyone. And thank you for your thank yous. Smoky Sparrow. And everyone else. Frederick and Daniela, Marianne. Yeah. Yeah, well, we don't want to scare people because that's not good. You know, it just end up being scared. I mean, yes, we want to alert people, but then immediately move into this is what you can do. Because there's so much scary stuff happening now. It can immobilize people, depress people. And it's just important to always think positively. That's what my mother always said. She lived to be 99. Always think positively. And she did. Like, no matter what would happen, she would think of some positive aspect of it. It was pretty amazing. So always think positively. And that will create longevity also. Is the chat going to be open to view? I think it is. It'll be on the different places. Some will be on YouTube and some will be on Facebook. And you'll be able to add more to those comments as well on Lama Tsultrim Allione Facebook and Tara Mandala Global YouTube. Okay, everybody, lots of love. Think positively. Oma Hum Bazaguru Pema Siddhi Hum.
Wow. Thank you so much, Lamala. First of all, for this profound episode and these teachings, and for your deep commitment to reaching out through this open to all live stream for 3 years with so many fantastic guest teachers to offer that to those in need of transformation and connection with their teacher at no cost. So that's really unique and special. Your dedication is truly felt in every word and presence, and it's just I feel it's just invaluable and benefits so many, as we can see. And on behalf of all, because there is only this chat and only I can speak, so on behalf of all of us practitioners from all over the world, so much gratitude for this steady presence on our path that you share with all of us. Thank you. And dear audience, dear you, we hope today's teachings have found their way into your hearts and will continue to support you. Remember, as Lama Tsultrim often says, it's no coincidence that you have been here today hearing and receiving these teachings. And I think about that often, and it always kind of brings me back to so much peace in my heart, and it's so grounding. So if you feel the call to participate in that December retreat, please sign up. I definitely will be there receiving these teachings myself, and it will be a profound closing of this year, I would say very meaningful. And I also wanted to say something that there are scholarships available if your financial situation is difficult. So please reach out. You will find a page on our website within that link that I've already shared about the retreat. Maybe I should share it again just in case. I'm sorry, it's a little bit longer than usual, but you know, it's it's just my my last Lama live. Oh, here it is. So yes, all right. And Lamala, thank you so much for your generosity in terms of offering Dana to me. I'm quite intimidated. I did post my PayPal link, and if I receive something from you, dear audience, I can say that I will order a tanka because I don't have one, and it's been my big dream. So I hope that's a good cause and may benefit everyone wherever it's being shown on the screen, maybe behind me here. And so that's not all. I really wanted to talk to you a bit more about the network, and especially to those of you who are not there yet. So as Lama Tsultrim already mentioned, Tara Mandala has worked really diligently to create a dedicated space for us, a space that goes beyond the distractions and limitations of social media. And many of us choose not to be there on social media. And that's why the Tara Mandala Network was born, to meet the needs of us practitioners as we've become this global community, and provide a safe, supportive space where we can come together in a genuine way. It's a place where you can join freely offered practice sessions each day through the generosity of our global sanghas. So you can really, I'm sure, you can find something for yourself, and our global sangha leaders are just truly wonderful people and will welcome you all. So that's that. You can be part of inspiring Dharma talks that are available only on the network, also freely offered. Access some unique resources, and most importantly, be present for and with each other. There is something very powerful about knowing we are not alone on this path, but so closely connected. I mean, I feel it every day, not because I work doing this, but because I feel it in my heart truly. So, okay, I won't try to convince you further. If your heart feels the call, you'll find your way there. And okay, Lama La mentioned that there is this space dedicated to activities for averting nuclear war on the network. So along with a large variety of downloadable resources, you'll also find practice sessions that respond to Lama Tsultrim's call to practice. These include a weekly session dedicated to the 7th Tara, because also we accumulate the mantra of the 7th Tara with gratitude to Lopon Ellen and the Florida Keys Sangha. And on the upcoming Guru Rinpoche Day, we have a special, extra special, I would say, gathering. So during this session, which is the 10th day of the lunar month, there will be a gathering called Flowing with Mantra, when we will recite the Guru Rinpoche mantra while moving freely in dance. How amazing is that? We've already done that this month, and we were all surprised how our body in motion can actually even amplify our offering. So if you would like, I'll post the link in the chat now. And please come. All right. And of course, our practice leader, or Dakini, who came up with this idea, is here with us today, Shoshana. Thank you so much. And there is one more thing I truly wanted to invite you to. Next week, on November 22nd, it's Friday, we'll have the chance to celebrate La Babduchen. It's one of the most sacred days in the Buddhist calendar. And this special day will include a teaching and a practice session led by our wonderful senior teacher, Lopon Ellen Booth Church. So we'll gather on Zoom, see each other's faces, and share what's in our hearts. And then join together in the practice of the great Mother Prajna Paramita, the perfection of wisdom. There is no need to register. There is no fee. Just come as you are, whether you're new to this path or have walked it for years. Everyone is welcome. Just post the link now so that you don't miss it. All right, so that's what we do on the network. Yes, we come in these virtual circles to truly be together in an informal way. That's how we share our time and presence with and for others. Lastly, thank you so very deeply for every of these 111 episodes. 111. It has been a huge part of my life, really, not only of my spiritual path, but of my life. And it's meant the world to me, knowing that this program has truly helped some of you find your way to the Dharma, start your practice or take it deeper. I really can't express how happy I am I could support Lama in offering her teachings to all. And thank you, Lama, for your trust all of these years. I deeply appreciate it. And I'm so grateful to each and every one of you for everything we've shared together through this special, really special space. Thank you for all the warmth I received from you in return. And I hope we'll connect on the Tara Mandala network in different sessions, also with Lama Tsultrim. All right. Okay. How about we close with the long life prayer for Lama Tsultrim? We've never done that. Let's do it today. I'll display it on the screen. Long life prayer for Lama Tsultrim. Om Swasti. Machi klapki dron me yesheku Jedzun katerchot yulzodzin Jetsun Lama Tsultrim chodron chok Kutsetak tenzetrin Gyegyurchi. Thank you, everyone. May we meet again and again on the path, and may all beings benefit everywhere.
Tare tu re, Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha. Om Tare tu re, Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha. Om Tare tu re, Mangalam Shri